Wow, you sillies really liked the Warbond tier list, so taking that positive feedback and turning it into an excuse to slip more Helldivers, my favorite game, content into my channel, I will definitely be making more content on this game. I'd like to quickly thank everyone who provided feedback and comments and letting me know what they thought. Now, moving on. Why are you here? Why did you click on this video? For an HMG guide. Well, thankfully I have just the thing for you, especially since that's one of my favorite stratagems, one that I think is personally underutilized, and nothing is more satisfying than firing large caliber bullets into the faces of my enemies, especially at rapid fire rate. Disclaimer, I am ill as of recording this video, so if I sound gross, just try and ignore it. Thank you, and now proceeding with the video. With that intro aside, now we can finally get into the actual meat and potatoes of the weapon. The HMG is a level 12 unlock for 6,000 requisition slips, which means that it is easy to access at a low level, and it dishes out a lot of punishment for a weapon that you unlock at such a low level. Do not be fooled, this weapon is a backpack weapon. It might not say it is, but you need to be bringing the supply backpack every time you bring this in. If you don't, you're going to be out of ammo more than you actually have ammo, and you're only going to realistically be able to take down a handful of heavy units before you're completely out. If you're just going to bring it because you think that it's not a backpack weapon and it allows you to use like a guard dog or something like that, you're better off just bringing the Quasar Cannon. The weapon does suffer from a stationary reload, which I know we all hate, which makes it not the most favorable for either the Illuminate or the bugs, but we will get into that. At sitting around a 150 damage with a 35 durable damage, which I am not going to get into because I don't like doing math, the weapon is capable of taking out most small chaff enemies and even some medium enemies in one shot. If you can put one shot into the face of any of the Devastator variants, it will drop them. It should drop a Hunter or anything below that from the bug front in one shot as well. And then I believe that the medium and light variant of the Voteless will take one shot, and then the large or heavy variant will take two. It is important to remember that this is a machine gun. So, if you are struggling to find a happy place for it, turn the fire rate up.
It's a machine gun!
With the fire rate turned up, you can definitely tell that there is a massive difference. In the standard firing mode, it is definitely usable. However, it will take longer to take down larger things. And now moving on to that, the faction I think that this weapon shines the most against is actually the Illuminate. Most people would say the bots, but I'm going to say the Illuminate because it can take down every single Illuminate troop, unit, tank, whatever. The Harvesters, the Meatballs, the Voteless, the Overseers, which we all hate the Overseers, and the Stingrays can all be felled by the massive firepower of this weapon. With its heavy penetration, it is able to punch through the Harvester's armor with absolute ease. Obviously, you want to be trying to aim for the front eye, where its health pool is the smallest, and it is light armor penetration to go through that little eye at the front, which means that it will do more damage if you hit there. But you can just take it down by shooting it in the side. I'd recommend you use your primary to drop the shields before you open fire with the heavy machine gun, just to save yourself ammunition and reload time and your stationary firing. Or if you're not stationary, you might be crouched, so you're still not moving around a lot, which could get you in trouble with the voteless. Its ability to punch through armor makes dealing with all the Overseer variants significantly easier. Just to keep in mind that the flying Overseers are going to try and dodge and maneuver, which makes it a bit annoying to hit them. So if you want to be able to hit them with... if you want to be able to track them easier, I'd recommend Peak Physique. Although, my most recommended, and the only one I have footage in the background of, is Fortified, because that reduced recoil really helps with a weapon that has a lot of recoil. The Automatons is, I think, the second best faction for this weapon, and I say the second best simply because the War Striders and the Factory Striders do make this weapon a bit harder to use. You're able to shoot the guns and grenade pods off of the War Striders with this weapon, disarming them, but it does take a couple shots, so they might be able to ragdoll you and stall your progress, which could be dangerous. Not to mention shooting them in the leg joints, the joint in between the crotch section and the leg, is their weakest point, but it does take a lot of ammunition to actually drop them, so it's better to just disarm them and then leave them be. The Factory Strider is the next thing that you have to worry about, at least the most, because you can disarm its machine guns, but you can't take out the top turret, and then the only way to drop it is to get underneath it and shoot its soft underbelly with the machine gun, which is incredibly dangerous because not only are you pushing a incredibly heavy unit that spawns more enemy units, but that's just outside of all the other enemies that might be around. So taking down Factory Striders is doable, but not recommended. Hulks are taken down and put down easier than a shotgun to your old pet gerbil. With the ability to shoot them in the face and take about 2 to 3 shots to drop them, it's really easy. Unfortunately, if you are not the best at aiming, that might be a bit more difficult than I made it sound. Fear not, though. If you aren't great at aiming and you need a bigger target, it can tear the arms and legs off of a Hulk so you can disarm it and just move on, like I said with the War Striders. This weapon used to have a 75 round capacity, but now it has been upped to a 100 round capacity. That does not mean you should spray your ammo carelessly into chaff enemies, because that's a quick way to end up being caught in a stationary reload, with a longer stationary reload than the machine gun, the regular machine gun. While it does have a rather lengthy cooldown time of 480 seconds, if your ship is entirely upgraded, it can go down to 410 seconds. I know, massive time saver. But you really shouldn't be relying on that cooldown super frequently. Realistically, if you die, try and just lure the enemies away and then circle back to get your stuff. Never just charge back in a democratic suicide run. Just try and lure enemies away, then circle back and grab your gear. It's always better to survive than waste reinforcements for either you or your team. Now, the one that I obviously have been avoiding talking about because I think that while in a video glazing this weapon, it's not a good idea to mention its weakest standpoint, is the bugs. Playing against the bugs with this weapon is really rough. It is hard. They will overwhelm you, they will swarm you, and it has Stagger Force, a Stagger Force of 25, but it's not enough to stop larger enemies. Where it does have a shining point, a point that I very much was unaware of until I saw another YouTuber on screen talk about it, is you can actually shoot through the charger's butt into the center of its torso, and it will actually hit the charger's main health pool that is unarmored, meaning that you can drop in a charger in 15 or under shots, which is very handy, especially when you have it on the higher fire rate mode, and you do that thing where it charges at you, and then you run towards it, but to the left or the right, so you dodge it, and then just lay down and lay into its butt, and it will just be dropped like that. Bile spewers and the unarmored variant of the bile spewers, the nursery spewers, if you pop them in the head with this gun, it should only take 5 or below shots, which is very handy to get rid of one of the most annoying enemies in the game. Stalkers, it also is kind of a guessing game of anywhere between 20 and below shots. Unfortunately, their speed makes it a bit hard to predict if you're going to be able to finish them before they can get to you, because they are beefier, speedy enemies, and it is a weapon that has a lot of weapon drag, so it might take a while for you to actually get to aim on them when they have the upper hand in the ambush on you. Bile Titans, I would not recommend fighting with this weapon in the slightest. While it can be done, especially if you shoot it up in the lower jaw, it will take maybe a magazine, anywhere between a magazine and a quarter. And it is not fun to do. I would avoid doing it, especially if you don't think you can pull it off, because you have to duck and dive and dodge the attacks while you're of the enemies that's accompanying it, and the actual enemy itself while you're fighting for your life. Now, where would I rate this weapon out of all of the weapons in the game? I would definitely give it a solid 8 out of 10. I think it is a strong weapon, but unfortunately it does have fallbacks, especially when it comes to the automatons. You can't shoot through the armor of some of the tanks, so you have to circle around behind, or the turrets, the stationary turrets, as well as the Factory Strider and the War Strider, and the Bile Titan and the Bile Dragon, and another enemy from Oshane that may not be mentioned because newer divers may be spoiled. This weapon does not go well against. However, anything beyond that is easy. If you thought this review was helpful for the in-depth guide on the HMG, please let me know, and also let me know if there's another stratagem you'd want me to cover, because I will be going over all of them. That being said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you sillies.